Yusuf Estes, and I'm looking for something. Actually, I'm looking for someone. Is that someone you? I want Dawah partners, and you can be my Dawah partner right now. It's real easy. Just go to dawahpartners.com, sign up, and join me. There are 3 things that I would like for you to be able to do. Any one of them or all of them. Beautiful. Number 1, you will make dua. So you can be our Dawah partner, even if you don't go to the website, but I hope you do. Number 2, share. Share this message and let other people know about becoming Dawah partners. And number 3, help us financially. Donate on a monthly basis, even if it's small. Allah loves the thing that you do regularly, even if it's small, more than the thing that you do that's really big, but you only do it once. Join me as a Dawah partner. Do it now. Click, 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 click.
A way of life, a way of life, a way of life, a way of life. Islam is a way of life, a complete way.
And we are coming to you almost live from our studios right here in Southern California. And our program tonight, we're going to be talking with our sister Kim about some of the very points that you're thinking about, I hope. Sister Kim, salam alaikum. How are you tonight?
Wa alaikum assalam. Alhamdulillah. I hope I can be psyched enough to read our watchers' minds and know what they're thinking.
Well, if you see what they're talking about, like, see what I'm saying? I think that'll work out really good, mashallah. One of the subjects I wanted to talk about tonight is something that I posted on Facebook. So if you guys don't use Facebook, I'll just tell you what it is. What I had in mind was that a lot of our Muslim brothers and sisters right now are talking about things that basically they're saying that Islam is outdated or needs to be updated. They don't need hadith. Some of them are saying that the hijab is a thing of the past. And others are saying that women should be able to travel wherever they want to, forever how long they want to, and not be limited by some of the hadith or some of the things that are in the Quran. And after spending a few weeks dealing with this thing, and especially this past week, I came up with something that I got from a brother, and I shortened it down a little bit, and I said, change us, not Islam. And that's what I was wanting to figure about. Why should we change ourselves? Why not just change Islam? But the thing is, when I came to Islam, I already saw what happens when human beings make up their own religion. Oh yeah, because I visited the idea for almost a year and a half of being a raw fooder, meaning not just vegetables, but raw vegetables, and no meat, and some of the things that go along with what was called then, it was starting up in the early 60s, something called the New Age religion. It incorporated some things from yoga and some things from metaphysics and some things from the Hindus, like reincarnation, and some of the things from the different sects of Islam, like the whirling around in a circle and so on. So all of those things, I've already seen what happens when people introduce that to, for instance, they were bringing it into Christianity, but they didn't really hold with everything in the Bible, so they just modified a lot of these things and put it all together and called it the New Age religion. And the super problem comes in after you get into that and look at it. By the time you figure it out, they already changed something. So by the time that you figure something else out, they changed again and again and again. And after 18, 19 months of seeing that up and down and all around, I decided, you know what? Maybe I should back out and go back to just being a plain vanilla Christian. But when I got back into Christianity, I was looking at, okay, am I a Methodist? Am I a Baptist? Am I a Catholic? No way on the Catholic, because of the idols and the statues. That scared me when I was a little kid, and I stayed away from that. Yeah, alhamdulillah. But not much better, because I was still thinking about, well, Jesus is saying in the Quran, pray to God. But why are the people praying to Jesus? And they said, well, he's God. And I'm like, no, he didn't say that. Well, Paul said something that we can twist around and make it look like that. And I was like, oh, God, what can I do? And for a while, I actually pulled back to the extent I'm going to say, I believe there's a God, but I have no idea what to do with this. And then later I came back into the mainstream of Christianity, at least, to say, okay, I believed in the Jesus miracle birth and the miracles that he did. I don't really know what happened at his death or what's supposed to be the cross, but for sure he's with God and he's going to be back in the last day. I think I got it right. Maybe, but I'm not going to worry about it anymore. And this continued for quite a while. When I was selling the organs and pianos to the schools and churches and so on, I just held on to that core belief that there is a God, the God of Abraham and Adam and Moses and David and Suleiman and Jesus Christ. But I didn't know about this Muhammad guy, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But I don't need that. Let's stay away from that. And then in the 90s, oh, look at these guys are a bunch of terrorists. Oh, the 90s started it. And in 91, I had this chance to convert a Muslim to become a Christian. 3 months later, it wasn't the Muslim who converted. It was me who was listening to these key words. Look at the key. The shortness of the story really hits home. You know, if you can tell a story in one sentence, it's a whole lot better than blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? So here's what he said. It's not between you and me. And not between you and your father, or you and your wife, or you and your congregation, or you and the business people you work with. This is between you and him. Go talk to him. Huh? What? I was like, wait a minute. What kind of sales pitch is this? But then I took that opportunity to go behind my father's house, make sure nobody's looking at me, you know, and then I prayed in the direction that he prayed, put my head on the ground. I said, I don't know how to do that salah thing that he does, but it doesn't matter. I'm just going to put my head on the ground and talk to him. I don't know how to do that, but I'm going to just... And I said, God, guide me. And when I raised up my head, I realized that it is not the outside world that I need to be changing. Change this person and that person, change this guy and change that lady over there, and change the atmosphere and change the direction. No, you know what it was? The discovery. Change myself. Because it's not about the outside, it's about the inside. And that's what I came up with, and that's what I still think today. We don't need to change Islam. Islam, by the way, is not just a religion. It is a complete way of life. And that's why it's called Deenul Islam. Deen does not just mean religion. It means your complete way of life. Because lakum dinukum is something you say to the kuffar. Some of them don't even have a religion. How can you say lakum dinukum, to me, our deen, and to you, your deen? You can't say that to somebody who doesn't have a religion, but you can say that to somebody who doesn't have a deen, a different way. Anyway, sister, that's I took up 8 minutes of our time to unload that statement. Change us, not Islam.
Yeah, it's a beautiful statement. And I think that's the one thing that, especially here in the West, a lot of people have to come to terms with is, we grew up with women in scanty clothing and watching things that we now know are haram on movies and all this stuff, and to us it's completely normal. And we come to Islam and it seems like you're stepping back in time sometimes to a Westerner. And so they say, well, Islam hasn't kept up with the times. What they need to realize is that Islam is for all times. And there is nothing in Islam that does not apply today that we can't at least learn lessons from. The only thing I can think of that doesn't apply today is rules on slaves, because we don't have slaves. But you can still learn about fairness and teaching people, that they need to treat others well. There's a lot of lessons to be learned, from things like that. And I think if people stood back and looked at the world around them and realized that, some of these things are very harmful, like, women in scanty clothing. A lot of that comes from influence that they see on TV. And they think that in order to be attractive to men, they have to show off as much skin as possible. And they lose the value of themselves in thoughts like that. And so it's not that Islam hasn't kept up with the times, it's that Islam is teaching us a better way of life. To value yourself, to value what your contributions are, not to value as much what others think of you. You should be concerned with what Allah thinks of you. And that's what people...
Yeah. You know what? I think you just hit the nail on the head right there with that one. Let's don't be concerned with other people. That's what the brother was telling me, is essentially... don't worry about what others are thinking. Consider what Allah thinks about you. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
One of the biggest pieces of advice that I can give people in the West is travel. And if you only see what is in your insular area, you're not exposed to people of different mindsets. You're not exposed to people of different philosophies and stuff like that. I'll admit I have been out of the country very rarely. I've only been to Canada and I've been to Ireland. But even though you'd think, oh, well, it's Ireland, they're just like us, they just speak with an accent. No, absolutely not. You know, they have a whole different outlook on things, just, one of the things that struck me is how, the families are not as glued to their TV as Americans are. And we spent an entire evening in the host family that I was with just singing songs. And they taught me a whole bunch of Irish songs.
You're singing songs?
I don't have the voice to do it anymore, so please don't ask me to.
No, but, I didn't realize that. MashaAllah.
Yeah, the whole family just sat together and sang songs. And the oldest son played on a drum. And we spent the night as a family, without being, this was before cell phones, but without being glued to the TV or glued to the radio or anything like that. And I'm sure you could tell us tons of stories of what your travels were like in the Middle East and how people spend their days or their evenings.
Well, before there was cell phones, now you brought up a very good subject, actually. Before there was cell phones, I would go out in the desert with the brothers, and we would sit around a campfire, and there'd be a big tent made out of camel hair, a big, huge black tent, and if it was cold, and a lot of times, even though it's hot during the day, it would get so cold at night, we'd go in the tent, and there would be a fire right on the edge by the, where the opening is. And so you could still get warm, but not have to go outside. And we would sit there and they would talk, and some of them would talk in English and some would talk in Arabic. But when they come to the Quran, of course, that would be in Arabic, and the Hadith, and somebody would translate for me. And they would talk and share, and nobody even thought, even for a second, about radio, television, or anything. They just stay, and boy, you would get tired by midnight. You'd be like, oh, I'm ready to go get some sleep because it's so nice in the desert, the pure air, And then after the advent of the cell phones, gradually I got to seeing people. About 15 years ago or so, it started becoming more common. So somebody's having a cell phone out there in the desert and looking for a connection. And recently, when I was, it's been a year and a half since I've been there in Saudi. But when we went out there, everybody was having a phone somewhere on them. If it would ring, they would answer it or say, okay, I'm in the middle of something, and or they'd be texting the little guys, out there, the teenagers are texting somebody or taking pictures and showing it to somebody. But it's not the same. It is not the same. The cell phone, I think, was it's a great invention. I don't want to say that it's haram or anything like that, but I think the shaitan loves the cell phone so much. Yeah, distract them from their salah, distract them from visiting with their company and being a good host, and distract them from their parents, and distract them from everything. So it is a distraction, sister. Yeah.
Yes, it definitely is. And that's one thing that I think a lot of people don't realize is that we have a lot of gains with technology, but we can also use that technology for gains with Allah. Rather than being glued to your cell phone all the time and things like that, to text friends and watch cute little clips on YouTube and all that, use your cell phone, download one of those apps that reminds you when prayer is. If you're going to watch YouTube, watch some Islamic lectures. If you're going to text somebody, text the brothers in Islam or sisters in Islam if you're a woman, and say, hey, let's get together and start a recitation group or something like that. You can always use technology for beneficial things. It is the shaitan that leads you to using the technology for things that are away from Islam.
Well, I have to agree again with what you're saying, because this is something that whether you're Christian or Muslim or Jew or Hindu, I think that this is one of the biggest distractions that that we can run into right now, and I think talking about this might help myself and all of us to get a better idea about that. These technological advances that we have, and what is it really? Because unless you got a whole lot of hands, oh wow, I found a picture on here with a guy with a whole bunch of hands trying to keep up with his phone, his clock, his computer, his laptop, and all of that. So yeah, a lot of distractions. But where it can end up is pretty obvious. Yeah, when it's all said and done, yeah, this is a picture of a skeleton looking over all of his stuff with about 5 cups of empty cups of coffee, I guess. MashaAllah. Speaking of coffee, yeah, sister, I'll turn it back over to you while I take. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll let you take a sip of coffee while we go through this. It does feel as if we're juggling a lot. A lot of people that are older in my own generation, I turned 50 in 2 years, and I'm sure in your generation as well, sometimes wish that we were back in what we call simpler times. One thing that they say that is a major change for them is we are constantly under pressure to be connected. You know, that somebody always has to have their phone on them, or they have to have the ability to read their email, or they have to respond to a text instantly. And they wish they could step away from that. And let me tell you from personal experience, it's not that difficult to step away from that. You know, you can leave the house without your phone. It's perfectly permissible. And go out for a walk.
What? You mean I can actually leave my house without my cell phone? I don't know about that. I have 2 phones, one for the calls that come in here. And by the way, that's a good idea for guys watching this right now. Pick up the phone and give us a call. 1-800-971-4383. 1-800-971-4383. Give us a call. Okay, but anyway, I take these 2 out with me on a walk. Yeah, because one I broadcast on and the other one I answer. Oh, okay, somebody called us. All right, let's find out who it is. All right, Salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Attila Kut from the Netherlands.
Oh, mashallah. You spoke with me today. Yeah. Are you watching us on Guide Us TV?
Yes.
Ah, okay. How are you watching us on our satellite, or are you watching us on the internet, or are you watching us on the phone? How are you watching this?
I watch it on the phone. I watch it on my computer, on my MacBook Pro.
MashaAllah.
I was talking to the Sheikh Saban, and he wanted to recite a live. He wanted to recite live Quran, but there are some problems with Africa because he has to call live in at the 800 number, right?
Yeah, if that's the best way to reach us right now. If he can't do that, then I don't know how he can reach us.
Okay. So
is he there with you? Somebody else is calling us right now. I'm going to answer the other phone, and then because somebody is calling me from Columbus, Ohio. But call me back when you can figure it out, inshallah. MashaAllah. Assalamu alaikum. Yes, salam alaikum.
Alaikum salam, Sheikh Harith. How are you?
Harith, mashallah, in Columbus, Ohio? Or no, you're in California, aren't you?
Yeah, I came back from Ohio a couple weeks ago.
Mashallah, it's great to have you back here in California. Mashallah. How is everything going, Harith?
Alhamdulillah, we were talking about you after Salat al-Asr today in Masjid Irvine, and the brother was mentioning you that he saw you 2 months ago, and that you have lost a lot of weight.
Well, yeah, I lost about 80, 90 pounds.
What's your secret? Yeah.
Well, it's not much of a secret. Just give up the carbs and stay away from the sugar. So the rice and the wheat, anything with bread or wheat or rice or macaroni, all those things that have, the high carbs. And I stay away from that. And but I reached this level, and now I'm kind of, I don't want to say I'm pigging out, but I kind of return back to the ice cream and some of the sweetness and, yeah, a little bit. So I'm maintaining a weight of about 80 to 90 pounds less than whenever you knew me. Yeah. Feels great. I can, by the way, you remember I had to sit in a chair to pray and I couldn't go up the stairs, and all of that's changed now. I can go upstairs, go downstairs slowly, but also I can pray right on the ground, right alongside everybody else with a 6 foot distance in between us. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
I should follow suit. And in the footsteps that you've done. And these days, what's your advice making dawah for COVID time?
Well, yeah, we have a website now called Dawah Partners, and when people sign up, then they become connected with us, and we send out something at least on a weekly basis. Sometimes every day I'm sending out things to help them to understand what the real dawah. The real dawah in Islam is to other people who are not Muslim. If they are already a Muslim, then it's not dawah, it's called islah. To perfect their Islam is called islah, and that's what we should share with each other. So there's 2 aspects of what we're trying to do. Number one is correct ourselves, and that's what we're talking about today. Change us, don't change Islam. The other thing is that whenever we talk to non-Muslims, that we should present everything in a very systematic way, easy way, not hit them all up with everything all at one time. Just basic thing. Number one, ask, do you believe in God? Do you believe in a creator, or did everything just happen accidentally, happenstance, or what happened? So once we get them to talk about what their belief is in God or the creator, then we can move to the next thing. What kind of relationship do you want to have with the creator? So number one, is there a God? Number two, do you want to have the relationship that he wants, or do you want to establish something else that you make up? Because if you make up your own connection with God, then it's never going to be the same as what he is asking you for, because he wants you to establish the salah or connection with him 5 times a day. Now, Harith, you know Arabic much better than I do, and you know that the word salah can also be connected to the word connection, silla. So we ask people to consider that. You're making a connection with yourself and God 5 times a day, or more if you'd like, but keep it rolling, keep it going. So throughout the day and the night, you're staying in connection with the one that created you. And that's the next move. After they've established there is a God and they want to have a good connection with him, then we introduce the salah and so on, step by step. It makes.
MashaAllah. So I have a question. I saw something on YouTube. It says, is it okay to be a Muslim and a Texan at the same time?
Well, you were born in San Antonio, Texas, so I guess that is a very good question. And I was raised in Houston, Texas, so yeah, I guess we can. But it's kind of weird, right? We don't say the normal greeting. We say Assalamu alaikum, y'all.
Okay. I was talking. They were asking that question, and it was an interesting combination to be a Texan and a Muslim at the same time. So it's just, alhamdulillah, we know we can do that.
Oh, yeah. Well, now it's time for us to take a break. So if you'd stay with me on the air, on the phone if you like, but we got to take a break right now. And I'm going to share with everybody to think about change us, not Islam. Guide Us TV, watched by many, loved by all. New Muslims, young Muslims, born Muslims, non-Muslims, all enjoy it. Guide Us TV, never ads, always free. Let's keep it free, no ads. Support and share, and get guided with Guide Us TV. This is Yusuf Estes, and I'm looking for something. Actually, I'm looking for someone. Is that someone you? I want Dawah partners, and you can be my Dawah partner right now. It's real easy. Just go to dawahpartners.com, sign up, and join me. There are 3 things that I would like for you to be able to do. Any one of them or all of them. Beautiful. Number 1, you will make dua. So you can be our Dawah partner, even if you don't go to the website, but I hope you do. Number 2, share. Share this message and let other people know about becoming Dawah partners. And number 3, help us financially. Donate on a monthly basis, even if it's small. Allah loves the thing that you do regularly, even if it's small, more than the thing that you do that's really big, but you only do it once. Join me as a Dawah partner. Do it now. Click, 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 click.
And we're back with Talk About It on Guide Us TV. But he's speaking with
his name is Harith. Harith. Some people pronounce it Haris with a S, but it's actually a TH sound in Arabic. But a lot of people say Haris. And if you remember that we had Haris Tobing working with us a long time ago, I think that was before your time, yeah. But his actual name was Harith, but they pronounced it Haris. Anyway, alhamdulillah for everything. So the focus for everybody is about change Islam. Change us, not Islam. That's what we're focusing on now. And with Harith on the line, I think that we give him a chance to say something else before we go on to the next thing. Harith, go ahead. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. No, I was mentioning before that I'm looking for qualified network engineers to hire here in Anaheim area.
Okay, you're close to our studios. We have studios on Mira Loma there in Anaheim. Did you know that?
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so if anybody's in Anaheim or can get close to Anaheim, maybe you'd like to know about how to contact Harith and maybe get a new job or part-time. I don't know. Have you got part-time available too?
We are also hiring help desk support engineers part-time and full-time.
Part-time and full-time?
For my department, yeah, my
Network security you have.
They contact you.
We need that too. All right. Well, how can they get in touch with you? Do you have a website for them, or you got a phone number they can call? What?
Yeah, our company website is westerndental.com. And
Say it real slow for me because I couldn't hear what you said.
westerndental.com.
West something.
Well, Western Dental.
Western, Western, Western Dental. Is that right?
Yeah.
Western
Correct.
Dental. They can go to the website and find out how to get a job. All right, that sounds great.
Yes, they
Can by the way, do they?
directly?
Is there any opening for somebody to do it from their house so that they could be in another state, or no, or must they be only right there?
We do well. The help desk is remote. They can work from home. We are looking for people in Dallas, Texas, also.
Dallas, Texas as well. Okay, guys. Western Dental is hiring technicians. If you're a technician, if you know about security or something like that, you should contact them. See what's going on. Western Dental. All right.
Right. There's the 3 positions in Dallas are desktop support, so they're helping.
All right, we got another phone call coming in, Harith. I got to go, but it's great to hear from you. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you.
MashaAllah, that was Harith. MashaAllah. Okay, Assalamu alaikum. MashaAllah, who is this? Okay, if you could speak just a little bit louder, it's hard to hear you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sheikh Yusuf. This is, you talked about, I remember, if I'm not mistaken, you know Mr. Attila, who lives in Netherlands.
Yes, that's right. What is your name?
Muawiyah Shaban from Uganda.
Muawiyah Shaban from Uganda. All right. Are you the one that... go ahead.
I'm a Quran reciter.
Would you like to recite the Quran for us right now?
No problem with it.
All right. Would you like to start out with Surah Fatiha? I love that surah, and a lot of new Muslims are watching. Maybe that would help them. Can you do that?
No problem.
Wonderful. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Let's listen closely.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا
MashaAllah, thank you so much for that. I've got another phone call coming in. Thank you. MashaAllah. Assalamu alaikum. Okay, we have another phone call. MashaAllah. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
MashaAllah. Alhamdulillah. Who is calling me?
Sheikh, my name is Shahriar. I'm calling you from Pakistan.
Pakistan. आप पाकिस्तान से है?
जी Sheikh. I'm from Pakistan.
MashaAllah. May Texastan suhu.
You're really getting better every day, mashallah. How are you doing, Sheikh?
Alhamdulillah. I know I should tell everybody because not everybody speaks Urdu. But what I said to him was, oh, so you're from Pakistan? He said, yes. Gee. And then I said, I am from Texas-stan. I put stan at the end of Texas, like Louisiana stan or Colorado stan.
Just add a stand, it becomes Pakistan.
Yep, there you go. Well, you guys, Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, Pakistan, I want to stand too, man. Come on.
So, Sheikh, mashallah, it was my dream to talk to you. It's been like, I've been watching your videos on YouTube, and whenever, alhamdulillah, whenever I watch your videos, your conversion story, it always, alhamdulillah, boosts my iman. So I just want to say thank you very much. You're doing a great job, mashallah, for Islam, for this deen, alhamdulillah. And you don't know, like millions of people are being affected by just your videos that you made in the past. Like one of the videos, you did a program with the guided through Quran, So that conversion story, that video, that I've always saved it for myself. Whenever I'm feeling low in iman, so I just watch that video. Alhamdulillah, it just boosts my iman level. Alhamdulillah.
Well, our topic tonight is about changing ourselves. Change us, but don't change Islam. Do you have a comment about that?
Yes.
We'd like to hear what you think about that.
Yes, Sheikh. I think, like in Pakistan, I would talk about that. Like in Pakistan, people would tend to find ways to bend the laws of Islam. Like what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what Allah has told us in Quran, that this is haram, this is halal, and in the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, we find everything like plain and clear. But unfortunately, there are people who would tend to, bend the laws to find a way. That's the thing. Like they would just try to justify something that's, that's haram. But in Pakistan, I would like to tell, like, there are people who do this a lot. But alhamdulillah, in Quran and Hadith, everything is plain and clear. So we should try to follow that instead of changing the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the change is going to come when we're going to follow the Quran and the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
I think that is a very beautiful way to say it or sum it all up. That when we start changing ourselves, then we'll see what Islam is really offering for us, and then we'll realize that we don't need to change Islam at all. What we need to do is change our perception of what Islam is. What is it to be I want to translate the word Islam right now. I want to be in the surrender, submission, obedience, and sincerity with Allah, and therefore derive His peace, security, and safety. All of those 7 words are rolled up into this beautiful thing called Islam. 8 words. I think I said 8 words. Is that right? Yeah, because if you think about it, these words are all present in that one word, aslama. That's the verb. Aslama is to be sincere, to be in submission, to be in surrender, surrendering to God, submission to God, submission to the one that Jesus told everybody to pray to. When he said to our Lord which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. That God's will be done, not mine. So whenever I'm trying to change things, what I really need to do is work on me instead of changing the way to worship Allah. Does that make sense?
True that. Yes, that totally makes sense. That totally makes sense.
MashaAllah. Well, I'm happy that you called us and spent this time with us. Do you have anything else to add to it?
No, Sheikh. I just wanted to talk to you. Alhamdulillah, Allah Azza wa Jal, fulfilled my wish. So, Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much for letting me in.
MashaAllah. Thank you so much. MashaAllah. Thank you. Barakallah fikum. Wassalamu alaikum rahmatullahi barakatuh. Sister Kim, what do you think about this idea of what he was saying just now? Our brother was telling us about the idea of working for internally and getting this change to come out, and then we'll observe that Islam is really already there, so we're trying to fit ourselves into it. Is that a good way to say it?
I think that's a fair way to say it. I mean, any change starts within. Whatever you're going to do, if you're going to change your clothes, if you're going to change your hairstyle, it all starts with a decision.
There you go.
So, any change that starts within, give it consideration before you make it a change on the outside. And it's very simple. The Quran and the Hadith are very straightforward. When you're going to make a change, say, how will this affect my relationship with Allah? And, think about it. And if you're like, what? I think this is what Allah means for me, do it. And, I'll be frank, yes, you might get some looks from some people. Real simple example of this is when a woman chooses to wear hijab. Especially if she's a little bit older, she hasn't been doing it her whole life, and suddenly she shows up at the workplace in a hijab. Let me tell you, within about 3 days, they're all used to it. And so, change is scary. Change can be very scary for some people. And, it takes a kind of strength to make a change, and we find that strength in Allah. And we find that strength in our connection with Allah. And so, if there's a change that you want to make in your life to bring yourself closer to the religion, to bring yourself closer to others, to bring yourself closer to Allah, ask Allah for that strength.
That makes a lot of sense. You were talking about hijab, and I think that that is something that the sisters have more so than the men, because we don't have anything that becomes obvious, because whenever somebody sees a sister walking down the street, then right away they know that that's a Muslim lady, and maybe that's one of the reasons why a lot of our sisters have been attacked, because people are saying, oh, there's a Muslim right there. They didn't realize that 10 guys walked by it, that they were Muslim too, because they didn't have a cap on or anything, and they're just walking by. Maybe they got beards. A lot of people have beards today. As a matter of fact, more men have beards today than any other time in my life, really. So I don't know, but what's your take on that?
It reminds me of when before I went on disability, I started a new job, and there was, excuse me, there was a young man with a very fluffy beard. And I'm like, oh, it's another Muslim. And I found out later he wasn't. But he sure looked it, from the length of his beard and everything like that. So yeah, it's a little bit harder to tell with men. It's definitely harder to tell with women if they're not wearing hijab, because there's a lot of Muslim women out there that don't dress conservatively anymore. And, if you want to be one of those people that walks down the street and people recognize you as a Muslim, which might be a scary proposition in the United States, but let me tell you, I've met so many nice Muslim women because they were wearing a hijab. And when I say salam alaikum to them, they just light up, oh, here's somebody who is another Muslim. And Yeah, it's a wonderful sense of community when you can walk around and you can recognize Muslims out and about, and you come to realize we're not as rare as you think in the U.S.
Yeah, I think that I have to agree with that. That the biggest problem for the sisters is the hijab. I think that they will agree with it. Almost every sister has to realize, if I'm going to go out here, am I going to be representing Islam? And a lot of them choose not to. The majority, of course, will wear the hijab no matter what. But there are some that will never put the hijab on because they say, well, if I go out, I get identified, and I don't need that, I don't want that. And even though it's a commandment, 2 times in the Quran, by the way. It's not just in Surah An-Nur. Most people know about, lower your gaze and draw the khimar over Juyubihinna. That's a common thing, but they don't realize that it says in Surah number 33, if I'm not making a mistake, Al-Hasab, I think that's where it is. And it's saying in verse, if I'm not making a mistake, number 59, but anyway, it says, Ya Nabi, oh my prophet. Okay, now that's directed right to Muhammad. And he says, say to your wives and to your daughters and to the believing women. Now, sometimes I've heard people give the translation and they leave out the part where he says, and the believing women, because they will say, oh, no, that's only for the prophet's wives and daughters. No. But it says believing women, that whenever they go out, that they should draw their abaya all around them and not to display any of the same thing, or the reference that you see in Surah An-Nur, not to display her beauties.
The phone is ringing.
And
we have a phone call. We have a phone call.
We had a phone call, but we lost it. Oh dear. I didn't move fast enough. But if you just called us and you'd like to call in again, we do have time for one more phone call if you'd like to do that. So let's hear from you again, inshallah. Sister, what were we just talking about? The hijab, right?
Right, and we were talking about how the commandment was not just to the prophet's wives and his daughters.
Yeah, Surah An-Nur, Al-Hasab, I think it's in Al-Hasab. Yes, yeah, here it is. This is it. Let me see if I can put that up here so people can read it and understand where I'm coming from with this, because here's what it says. Ya ayyuhan nabi. Okay? Cool. And it's, to give you the translation, it says, oh my prophet. Now it doesn't say that in the translation, but it is. It says, oh my prophet, say to your wives and to your daughters and the women of the believers that they should let down upon them their overgarments. This will be more proper, that they may be known, and thus they will be not given any trouble, and Allah is forgiving and merciful. But the problem that comes in is when it's not safe for them. All right, let's take this phone call. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello?
Hello. This is Dennis. I just wanted to report. I'm watching you on a D19 satellite, and for some time, months or more than months, they've had this spitting noise in the audio.
A spitting noise?
Your face, but I thought I would report it so that maybe somebody could check into it.
All right. Thank you very much for that. You can't imagine how much we do appreciate hearing this, because I'm always asking people if they're watching us on satellite or on their phones. But you're saying our satellite transmission has a spitting noise in it, or hissing?
Yeah,
I could put it up to the TV. Right now I have the audio off, or I could let you listen to it if you want.
All right, let's see what it sounds like so I can tell our technicians.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much for that. You can't imagine how much we do appreciate hearing this, because I'm always asking people if they're watching us on satellite or on their phones. You're saying our satellite transmission has a hissing noise in it, or hissing?
All right, I'm not exactly hearing, but I will tell them about this. Okay. By the way, Dennis, thank you very much for taking the time and the opportunity to call us like this. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right. Assalamu alaikum.
Did you hear it?
Yes, I heard something, so I'll tell them. I'll tell them about what I heard. Okay.
I was trying to see for sure if it was the satellite receiver or not, and I put a different one on. I have a bunch of satellite receivers, and I put another brand on there, and it does the same thing. So it's something that either interference on the satellite. Who knows?
Well, maybe it's in our transmission to the satellite. I don't know. All right.
You're the only channel that it does that on. Okay.
All right, we'll check into that. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
God bless. God bless. Okay.
I don't think that he was a Muslim, but he sure did act like a good man. I really appreciated that. And at the end, he said, God bless. Barakallah fiqh. That's Arabic, means God bless you in it. Yeah, Barakallah fikum. Allah bless you in all of this. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. And we're getting up close to the hour where we have to roll out. So guys, if you would like to call, this is the best time to call us right now.
The phone is ringing.
Okay,
We have a phone
and
call.
we do
We
have
have a
somebody
phone
calling
call.
us right now. All the way from
OSH user.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
MashaAllah. Who is this and where are you calling from?
This is it's my Stewart. I'm calling from the DC area.
Washington, D.C. I used to live there for over 10 years, man.
I know. This is your brother Ismail. Stewart, I live with you.
Oh, mashallah, mashallah, mashallah. It's great to hear your voice again, mashallah. How is everything at Darul Hijra? How is everything there in the masjids?
Alhamdulillah, everything is good. Alhamdulillah. I'm just calling to support the Dawah, and I love your TV show. I see you on Facebook all the time, and I just love the work you do, and I want to help.
Well, mashallah. Our topic tonight, we're talking about change us, not change Islam. And also, I would like to tell everybody that they can hook up with us, and I'm telling you at the same time, dawahpartner.com, dawahpartner.com. And with that, we got to roll off the air because they're telling me right now, they're calling me and saying, get off the air because they got a program coming up. And so with that, we will roll out. Stay tuned, everybody, and stay guided with
Guide Us TV.
Yeah, I love the way she said that. Yusuf Estes, and I'm looking for something. Actually, I'm looking for someone. Is that someone you? I want Dawah partners, and you can be my Dawah partner right now. It's real easy. Just go to dawahpartners.com, sign up, and join me. There are 3 things that I would like for you to be able to do. Any one of them or all of them. Beautiful. Number 1, you will make dua. So you can be our Dawah partner, even if you don't go to the website, but I hope you do. Number 2, share. Share this message and let other people know about becoming Dawah partners. And number 3, help us financially. Donate on a monthly basis, even if it's small. Allah loves the thing that you do regularly, even if it's small, more than the thing that you do that's really big, but you only do it once. Join me as a Dawah partner. Do it now. Click, 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 click.